Hello and welcome to my Sunday From. Today we have an easy recipe. It's going to be Chef Boyardee raviolis fried and stewed. If you want to stew them, you can stew them. If you don't want to stew them, then you could just have them separate. But I have here for ingredients Chef Boyardee overstuffed beef raviolis in pasta sauce. And so we're going to need to separate these. But for now, this is what I have, just one can. If you're um, needing to feed a family, you probably need 3 cans or 4 cans. But this is Lawry's Total Seasoning, and I'll tell you this has garlic, onion, and spices, including oregano, parsley, celery seed, and cilantro. You can use any all-in-one seasoning. This one says it's good for grilling and cooking. And there is another one by Badia that's a total seasoning, but I just wanted this one because it looks like it would be good for frying, and that's what we're going to be doing. So anything you want to put in your batter or your flour when you're frying, that's going to be directly on the raviolis. So that's going to be like your first, mouthful of taste and flavor. So you just decide what you wanted. I usually just use like something a little bit more deeper, like Eppies or Zader. Um sometimes I use Cajun seasoning or Creole seasoning, but this one sounds good for frying, like I said, and appropriate. So I'll try this one. And for the seasonings, um actually the rest of the seasonings for the stew sauce is gonna be crushed red pepper. It's gonna be Italian seasoning. So these are just herbs, including marjoram, thyme, basil, rosemary, savory leaves, and dried oregano, and garlic butter. This is a grill seasoning. I think it says McCormick Grill Mates, and it's really nice with when you add an oil to it. Like you can put it on bread and stuff like that. I put it on my biscuits the other day, and fried up my biscuit. But if you want to check out that recipe, go ahead. It's called chicken and biscuit. Also, I did include Eppies because the sauce does include Eppies. It has beef in it, and I feel like this spicy herb seasoning blend has a really good flavor with beef, particularly. Um, and I've really, this is kind of like something that I need to have it in there because it just makes sense. And of course, grated Parmesan cheese. If you know, you know, this is like all American topping for anything tomato based. And then, of course, I have red wine vinegar, which is going to make the sauce saucy. And you can just use ACV if that's what you got, and or if you have kids or people who don't drink because of health or whatever, you can just use, like I said, ACV, and it should be fine. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get this flour on a plate. And I was gonna make chicken fried steak and, like sides for it. But I was like, I have to eat this. So, like, I'm not gonna go and ruin my diet just to get you guys a good video. Besides, like, I know nobody requested this, but I was eating in front of my live stream. Um, my opponents and stuff were asking, what is that? And I thought, well, if they're asking, maybe it's because they really were interested in the the aesthetic, like the way it looked. And I thought of you guys because y'all like to kind of eat good. Is there another way of saying that? Y'all like to eat good, and I'm very proud of y'all. So I wanted to show you another recipe, even though it was kind of like not planned. And I thought, well, if people were looking at the dish, I'm pretty sure, if you guys had that dish, people would, you know, they would want to see it more. So I'm just mixing this until it gets a good color in there and it's not like total flour based. Like I want it to have the seasoning prominently in here because like I said, when you take a bite of it, it's gonna have that flavor. And the reason why I picked the total seasoning, like Paria Completa or like something like um all all in one seasoning with the herbs and stuff, is because it tastes kind of like southern, and we're used to eating like a southern crispy bite, and I feel like that's kind of appropriate here. So next we're gonna get the raviolis out. And we'll just place them on the plate. And yeah, you can just scoop them out however they are. This one kind of separated, but like it's still good. Mhm. So I'll just put them one by one. Like if you get little pieces, you can still fry them up, so you can still um, coat them in flour and eat them like that. So I'm just taking one at a time out of the can. Be kind of gentle with it because if you want, you can put them in a shallow dish, like a longer shallow dish, and just pour it out and just grab them from the, drain it into a bowl because we're going to be using the sauce as the base for the sauce. It's not enough for me in my opinion. Whenever I eat like these, I need to kind of make more sauce. So this is kind of two in one recipe, how I make more sauce for my raviolis and also how I make my fried raviolis, because I kind of be making the sauce anyway, to be honest with you guys. If we're going to be honest, I would still be making more sauce. And yeah, I always say we can learn how to stretch as we go, um, our pantry. And that's one thing that I know for sure. If I have more sauce, I'll feel more content and satiated. Literally, there's not even pieces in here. And this is how much sauce you get. It's about a third of the can. And like I said, all you got to do now is dip these in the flour and just kind of let them sit on the side of the let them sit on the side of the plate, coated and ready to go. Kind of try not to disturb it because then the flour falls off. Just flick them in there. get them coated. Kind of just tap the flour off of them. That way they're not like gonna burn up your pan while you fry. You just kind of want to tap the flour off of them. Keep the flour on the plate. Just give it a good old coat. And then if you miss a spot or two, you can just manually do that. And just flick it back into where it was. And just like that. And then last but not least, we got the run of the litter. Let's go. And boom. It's ready for frying. And any like extra flour you have, just you can tap them before you put them on. And like I said, we're gonna be using flour as a base anyway. So let's go ahead and check out the next step, which is right here. At the frying pan. And we're just gonna wait until it warms up, and then we'll drop them in. And so before this starts smoking up, I want to put these raviolis, and they look about ready. So I'll just throw them all in. So almost all in. I just need one more. And that's it. And you can literally cover them and cook them slow. And the ones that turn brown on the edges, you can flip them, and see where you're at in the frying. Quite sure. If you're not quite sure, just move them around and check out both sides. So you just want to put them kind of close together, let the oil them through, so that way they're crispy. And then we'll put them on this baking sheet. They smell wonderful. I like my what I put in my frying flour, but I mean this is pretty basic. This Raviolis, if you have it, you know, it's good go-to. All in one, grilling, cooking, and frying. I think it's a good deal. Let's come back to this when they're brown on both sides. Okay, so we're ready to remove them from the pan. And like I said, you just grab maybe a paper towel lined sheet pan or any kind of thing that doesn't melt. I'd say you have to have like something sturdy. And then from here, we're just gonna add flour to this, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients once it's golden in hue. So definitely turn that down. Definitely add only a little bit of oil at this point. You can probably just dust it and it will be fine like that. And like I said, put it on low, let it brown up. I usually add the garlic butter at this point, and it's kind of a generous amount. But you want to brown that flour, definitely brown the flour. Work really fast to get it all mixed up, no lumps, just like that. You know, obviously, this is to thicken the sauce. And so go ahead and put water in. And then add your seasonings. And we're going to add the Italian seasonings. And the crushed red pepper. I love these. These are so beautiful. And then we're going to add the anise spice. A couple of spoons of that. And the red wine vinegar. We're going to add a splash. Just like that. At this point, you can add some Parmesan to your raviolis and just toss them if you want. That way it kind of sticks to it. But yeah, this, we just cook it up slowly and mix it good. See how easy that is? Let the flavors kind of come out for a little bit. You can add more water if you need to. And at this point, I'm just stretching the sauce. So basically, all the flavors are just going to combine. Now, once you add the can, you can add the raviolis as well once it's mixed up. But if you don't want them soft, you want them crispy inside of your sauce, which I want that kind of crispiness still instead of stewed, then you can just not put them in and just eat this on top of them. And just let it all cook down together. See how wonderful it looks, well seasoned. And I usually use a big plate for this stuff. So just check on it and make sure it doesn't stick. This looks really nice. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use this like it is and just put some of these raviolis on my plate. Just put some of these raviolis here, plate it up, and just get some of that sauce on. However much or as little as you want. Just like that. So here's how it looks. Crispy and delicious. Now I grabbed a fork so we can try it. And I'll just cut into it. You can use any kind of raviolis you want or whatever sauce you want. But I just prefer things simple in my kitchen because I am a prepper. So we'll try this and see how we did. That is delicious. It's nice and crispy, and it tastes so good. I just got a chunk of this. It's cool. Try it with the cheese. And just like that. That's delicious. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you try this recipe. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. It might sound different. Bye-bye.